minutes.
All right. Good evening.
Evening.
This is the February 19th, 2019 Sewer Commission meeting. Welcome. This is not a public meeting. This is a
No,
regular.
It is a public meeting.
It is a
not
public.
Not a public hearing.
It's not a public hearing. Let me say that for the record again. This is a public hearing, but it is not a public no,
No,
it's a
no.
public
Public
meeting,
meeting.
but not a public hearing.
That's it.
Correct.
Got it. So we're here to continue our discussion on the stormwater regulations and the stormwater utility fee. However, before we do that, we have one item to review and approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was a public meeting and was a public hearing.
Yes.
And Fred and Joe, did you have a chance to review?
Yeah, on that, I'd like to make a comment that our sewer commissioner, sewer and water commissioner, superintendent did a fantastic job on generating the minutes of the last meeting. Appreciate that, Bob. And on that, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second that and second the fact that did a great job.
A lot of writing, a lot of notes.
Did-
I don't know how you remember
Thank
it
you.
all.
Thank you.
Well, let's take a vote. All in favor of accepting the minutes and complimenting Bob publicly for his note-taking?
Aye.
Aye. It's in the record, the town records. Perfect. All right, number two, I guess we're going to discuss the regulations prior to the fees. Just since this is a public hearing, I do have a question. It's a public meeting. Louise, I think I should write that down. And it's probably a question that I've gotten probably most frequently over the course of the last 4 weeks. So I'm just going to ask the powers to be here to just explain to us all, once again, why this regulation applies to some towns and does not apply to other towns. I told him it because it doesn't rain in some towns, but.
I wish that was the case, but no. It's all based upon population within a certain area. And it's currently it's under the 2010 census is what the population is based upon.
So if your population is above this threshold, it applies?
That's correct.
And if your population is below this threshold?
Correct. And you could have parts of towns that, portions of the town are within the MS4 regulated areas and other parts of the town are not.
Because that part of town
Is
meets
less
the
dense.
threshold?
Yes, part of it is, it's usually the centers of town are.
Okay.
So Shrewsbury is 99.8%, and the 0.2% is located within the reservoir of Northborough, up in the northeast corner.
Okay.
Other towns around us have less. We are the largest in the area in terms of percentage.
Including Worcester?
Well, Worcester is under the Phase 1,
Okay.
so which their entire city is located within the Phase 1 permit. So they are regulated, but under a different permit.
All right, thank you. Joe and Fred, as far as regulations are concerned, any questions?
No, I don't have any.
Gone through it.
All right. I have one question, and again, more for educational purpose than anything. But one of the regulations, one of the rules or regulations, is that any member of Shrewsbury, any townspeople, I'll go with it, anybody from Shrewsbury can file for I'm going to call it a credit or an abatement. Either of those words work?
We should be using the word credit.
Credit, okay? For the record, it's a credit. Can someone explain what that process is in the regulations and how that, that process will play out moving forward? Anybody?
Andy, Vincent?
Yeah, basically there is a one-page application, which there are copies up there.
So they come to the water department?
Yeah, they will have to provide the engineering department, DPW, with a certain amount of data based on the storm drainage, and then we will see and look and see if we feel that it exceeds the standards of the current stormwater management policy of the DEP. So that's basically,
So the individual or the organization would come to the town hall? They would
well, actually,
get,
it's going to be online hopefully at some point, but right now there's paper copies.
okay, and there's a one-page form.
It's yeah.
What particular issues qualifies for a credit?
Well, it would be
We
anything.
see here, what we have here is what doesn't qualify.
Yeah, so simple
What-
stuff
what
like rain
does
barrels
qualify?
and, rain leaders just going into the ground. It would have to be a substantial stormwater system that goes above and beyond the stormwater regulations.
Now, the retention type.
Tension, but, we'd be looking at, quantities above what's required under the state policy, infiltration volumes above what's on the required, phosphorus removal, what's above and beyond the requirement, so.
So
'Cause there are
the
yes.
the average person, or whether it be a homeowner or whether it be a commercial entity, really doesn't have much that they can come back on from the standpoint of requesting
I
a
don't think
credit.
a lot of homeowners will get for it. It's probably gonna be a lot of the bigger commercial ones, and certainly ones maybe that have, recently been developed or have substantial stormwater system, and if they just have, conventional catch basins and they haven't really
so-
done anything, then.
Yeah, so it mean that an existing, say, commercial entity would have to invest quite a bit of money to
Qualify.
qualify for a
Yes,
credit
you are
as
probably
opposed
gonna
to
spend a lot of money on
renew-
engineering costs to get a very small savings, especially, let's just say for the homeowners especially.
Yeah.
It's considering for the most part, it's $90 a year.
Yeah, it's-
Really,
no, I'm
it's not.
thinking more of the,
But the commercial ones, yeah, it's the ones in the upper tiers,
Yep.
they would have to give us, obviously, we would need some kind of engineering design backup for it. It wouldn't just be, a simple
Thank you.
letter, so.
Okay,
But it's, there are certainly properties in town that will probably qualify for it. And we kind of did this based on knowing those properties already exist.
all right, wonderful. Any further discussion required on the rules and regulations?
Not for me.
not for me.
Do we have a motion? Who's my motion here? Joe?
I make a motion that we approve the presented rules and regulations for the stormwater management utility.
And I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Moving toward number 3, this will be a discussion of the stormwater utility fee schedule. I believe that there are copies of the fee schedule there, if anybody is interested. Any questions?
Yeah, I had one. The inspection fee. We didn't talk about that, I don't think, unless I was, maybe, those are...
Well, we touched on it briefly. There are certain key inspections that we're required to do under the permit, so that covers.
I think for clarity, there's two separate utility rates or fees. One is the stormwater utility fee, which is based on, is for all parcels. Then there is the stormwater application review and inspection fee, which is for new construction of any construction over 5,000 square feet.
So that basically applies to new construction.
That's new
as
construction,
opposed to
that is
existing,
correct.
right?
That is correct. In which, under the permit, we are obligated to not only review the plans, but also to do follow-up inspections, and there's a series of 7 or 8 different times that we need to inspect the site, pre-development, during construction, post-development, after it's closed out, et cetera. So there are requirements that we're obligated to do. So there's two separate. One is construction related, which is the stormwater application review and inspection fee schedule. And then there's the stormwater utility fee, which is separate.
So, clarification, when you say new construction, what's the definition of new construction?
Any land disturbance, in this case, over 5,000 square feet.
Okay. So somebody puts a large
A large addition,
addition.
but if someone is just putting a deck, a small pool, no, then that wouldn't apply.
gotta be-
Anything 5,000, so that's a fairly large area.
Okay. Got it. All right. Any other discussion needed? So the fee schedule for the vast majority of properties, residential properties, I think we said it was about 88%, is $90 annually, which,
So 90% of single-family residential will be $90, which is comprised of about 80% of all properties in Shrewsbury.
and on quarterly billing, that would be $22.50 a quarter,
Yes.
is the way it would roll out. All right. Perfect.
Yeah, just under $8 a month.
$7.50 a month, but
$50 a month.
you got the message that we're sticking with quarterly billing. We're not going, the town is not moving to monthly billing. That's been something that changed in the last.
Yeah, just for clarity, we are looking still at going to monthly billing,
Yeah.
but due to different issues, some of it has to do with software, we are staying with the quarterly billing. Currently, we are still looking to go monthly billing at some point.
At some point.
Yes. It will not be in July 1st as we originally anticipated.
Okay. And there was some discussion that we were having about the ability to get this new fee situated in time for July. Is that,
So again, with the two different fee structures, the stormwater application review inspection fee will go into effect if you adopt it tonight. It'll go into effect tonight. And will apply starting basically for this new construction season.
okay.
The stormwater utility rates, even if you adopt it tonight, will go into effect July 1st.
All right. So the effective date of the inspection fee, 2/20/19, effectively, or 2/19?
If we adopt it, we'll have today's date as the assuming you adopt, it will be adopted as effective today
Okay,
and go into effective, so anything basically filed tomorrow.
okay. Does anybody have any reason why we should not move forward?
I'm in favor with the existing rate sheet.
Okay. Joe, looking to you to make a motion.
Okay. Gentlemen like to make comment.
This isn't a public hearing. Can we take comments from,
No.
we can't take comments? Sorry about that, but we appreciate you coming.
I make a motion that we accept the stormwater application review fees and inspection fees as presented.
I second
And-
that.
And
Are we gonna do it,
util-
should we do it individually?
Individually, well, I thought individually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I make a second motion that we accept the stormwater utility rates as presented on February 15th, 2019.
That's it, that's his motion.
Okay. I second that.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so it is said, so it shall be done, I guess. Seeing that this is the monthly sewer commission, do we have any updates or anything that we need to go over? Is this, and it's not on the agenda, so maybe we
Yeah,
can't.
I didn't, because I didn't know how long this was gonna be involving over there, so we just kept it strictly to this for
Okay.
right now. So I didn't put any miscellaneous, I didn't put any other updates for right now, just to keep it kind
Alright.
of targeted on the stormwater utility fees and schedules there.
All right. Joe and Fred, do you have your calendars out for,
Not yet, but momentarily. Sometime in March.
yeah, March 12th, March 19th?
March 12th is out for me.
Okay, 19th?
I'm available the 19th.
You available the 19th?
Yep.
All right. Bob, we'll do the next meeting on March 19th at 7 PM?
Yep.
Perfect.
More than likely, we'll have it in conference room G.
Conference room retreat. Okay. Is that upstairs?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Joe, Fred,
Motion to adjourn.
anything else? Motion to adjourn. He's,
Oh, he makes that motion already.
yes.
Well, some of there's anything else.
Joe is working with his Android phone.
Excuse me.
Make sure I get it.
All right. Do you want to second Fred's motion? to
I
adjourn?
second that motion, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, gentlemen, ladies, that's it.
Thank you.